Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're here, you've either made a grave mistake or I've finally stumbled across a topic you might actually be interested in. Either way, welcome and let's have a chat, shall we? So today's topic is something that is probably not what you're used to hearing me talk about. It's something actually borderline, well in fact no, it's not even just borderline, I'm trying to make light of it now, and that's part of the issue. I'm going to talk to you about anxiety, and in particular, my anxiety. A lot of people who know me would never really consider me to be the type of person who would struggle with anxiety. And I think that's basically also the problem as well, is that nowadays we think that people with mental illness or mental ill health, shall we say, that they must be the ones who are never confident and have never been out there, or they shy away from social situations. And, you know, sometimes that must be true. However, my anxieties are very much covered up by personality. So I'm going to talk to you today about a few things that make me anxious and how I go about trying to cover that. So the first thing that makes me anxious is large groups of people. And if you know I'm an actor, you probably think that's probably the dream, isn't it? Being in front of large groups of people. Well, that's different because that's my control zone. I have the stage where I'm stood, and then they're all sat, stood, running away, whatever they're doing. The other side, I never have to get involved with that. Now, another thing about me is that I'm a massive Aston Villa fan, and I've probably only been to about 5-6 games in my whole life, and that's because I can't deal with the idea of being stuck amongst other people. When I worked in a bar, for example, I'd always try and find a way to go around the least amount of people when collecting glasses, because it just made me panic. Not like panic to the point where I'd fall to the floor and start screaming. No, that's not what it is. It's just where I feel uncomfortable and I find I've got a shortness of breath and I just really don't want to be there. So when it comes to acting, it feels safe, bizarrely. And then with real life, if I'm actually going somewhere where there's lots of people, I try and avoid it. Like if I go supermarket shopping, it tends to be almost tactically planned, like some kind of military mission where I know it'll be where mums and dads are perhaps picking kids up from school or dropping them off, or just the time when I think there's not really going to be anybody else there. Problem being I shop at Aldi, so there's always people there, but I think you can probably see the logic. I've suffered with anxiety dreams for as long as I can remember, and I look them up every day, and if I was to believe half the definitions of them, I'd probably be a very rich billionaire with about 3 boats who's killed about 7 people and has got a row of enemies down the street. But the truth is, there's always an element of anxiety to it, whether it's turning up to a new job with not being given the script, or the script being changed on the first day, or no clothes on, of course, animal bites, just being dropped into a scenario that I've got no experience with and expected to know what it is. I was once in a church in a dream, and the vicar asked me to come up and tell them that I believed in God and wouldn't let me leave until they believed me, for example. So it's just one of those where I'd probably say at least 4 out of 7 mornings will be an anxiety dream. And you think, well, why are you telling me about that? That's dreams, that's not reality. The fact is, some of those dreams are so real that they become a reality. You start second guessing, for example. You start thinking, do I know what I'm doing? Are there people that haven't got their best interests for me? Am I enough? And I shudder at using that phrase because I see it all the time. People say, you are enough, you are enough. Who decides that? Who measures that? Who's the person that says, I've decided the bar, and now that I've given that bar there, you can measure yourself? Because effectively, saying everyone is enough and then expecting people to know what that is another form of ridiculous social control. Sidebar. We'll move on. So yeah, my anxiety dreams are they're rife, they're real, and they can set you up for a poor day sometimes. They're usually linked to when I'm starting a new job, and that kind of bleeds in with the large groups of people thing. Like I started a really cool job almost this time last year, where on my birthday there was a barbecue where all of the troupe, shall we say, was gathered for a meeting where we can all kind of get to know each other a bit before the first day of rehearsals. I couldn't think of anything worse, and that's nothing to do with the lovely people that were there. It's just the fact that I didn't know anybody and I was turning up into a group of 35 people on my birthday. It felt like there was a spotlight on me, and truthfully, I don't like being the centre of attention, he says, with a YouTube channel, a reasonably successful blog, which I'll put the link in the description to, and I'm an actor. Yeah, I don't like being the centre of attention. Might need to revise that, who knows. I also have huge anxiety with regards to body in general. It can be broken down into two things. One, I feel like I'm balding very quickly. I know I'm not. It's one of those things where I feel like it's worse than it is, and there are lots and lots and lots of bald people who would probably kill to have the hair that I've got. So I know I have to be grateful for what it is, but it is still something that plagues me every day. The other is not being a very tall man. Now, obviously, I know that there's nothing I can do about that particularly, and I know that lots of decent people that I know don't hold it against me, but to this day, I still get called a short ass. I went for a run last year, and it was not the only time I went for a run. I run reasonably regularly. But I went for a run last year, and a girl no older than 14 was just shouting, run you fat little shit. Well, that wasn't motivation. I've got it now. But I think that comes into the idea that, you know, we can blame Disney as much as we like for this, but growing up, you're kind of told that, and this isn't the only dimension that I'm concerned with it about, it's just one of them, that we're always told that the Disney prince is this 6 foot tall kind of guy, parodied with the Hunchback of Notre Dame, where it was like this shorter, hunched over guy. Like, it didn't set people up with the right kind of ideals, really. We're getting there now. Like, there's a lot more representation of different body types and people in general on kids' films and just TV as it is. But growing up, I kind of saw myself as, well, you know, I wasn't as much as everybody else. I know it's not a big deal. People don't look at me and think, oh, I wish he was taller. Maybe some people do, but that's your problem, not mine. But you see, I hope, how all of these things can lead into a really kind of nasty cocktail. And then there's actually the belief in myself as a person, which I think is the biggest anxiety. I will move the earth for people. I do anything and everything I can. I don't have any money, but if it's a case of helping someone with something, driving in the middle of the night somewhere, giving them something that they need, just listening to people, I'll always do it. But I don't feel like I can do that with other people, really. I always feel like I'm a burden, and the anxiety of talking to a few people in the last year, because I haven't had the best of years, but the anxiety of talking to people in the last year, a number of times, you start thinking, oh, they don't want to hear this. They don't want to know about me, they've got their own stuff. Some people don't. Truthfully, some people don't want to hear your crap. There are some people, though, I hope that you do have in your life that do. With my career as well, I think that's one of those things where actors are constantly measured against each other, which is ridiculous, because the truth is there are very few actors that are like you, but we're all measured against each other, and we're told that we need to be doing more, we need to be doing all of these things, and you need to be as present online as you can be, and emailing all these people. And the reality is, I let go of all that a long time ago, because it was making me really stressed about the idea that I wasn't in everybody's pocket all the time. Regards to ability, I've had a number of jobs where you end up feeling like you're not very good, whether that's as a result of the quality of the rest of the production itself, whether that's comments that are directly made to you. You're also constantly critiqued on your appearance. And sometimes that's from a really healthy place, in terms of you need to be more like how you actually look in your headshots, for example. But sometimes it can just be on descriptions where they want the not as attractive best friend, for example, or they want the quirky looking one. We all know that quirky is another word for weird. Quirky doesn't disguise that in any way, so you can stop listing it like that. So why am I telling all of this to you? I think it's two reasons. The first one is I don't tell anyone this kind of thing, and I think it's better to stop trying to think of myself as this incredibly attractive prospect to absolutely everyone, whether that's as friend, relationship, mentor, mentee, student, teacher, anything like that. I don't want to. It's really hard sometimes to say the word attractive and not make it sound like you just want it to be, for example, in my opinion, girls to find me attractive. It's not that, it's the idea that as a personality, as a being, as a person, you are attracted to other people to spend time with. Anxiety can really limit that. The second thing is as well, is that I think we're very good at letting celebrities tell us it's okay to deal with mental illness. We're very okay with letting influencers say, go out there, exercise, go and have a coffee with some friends, open up to someone. I'm not an influencer. I've got 119 subscribers. I'll probably have less than this after that. But I would encourage you to talk about it. Now, anxiety doesn't affect me leaving the house. It doesn't affect me getting up in the morning because I have the ongoing strength and resolve within to combat all of that, and I don't let it affect how I actually operate within life. I know people who have the struggles with anxiety where they can't do that. And this is my open door policy to all of you now. If you are struggling with anxiety, or even anything else, my door/phone/Instagram/ whatever medium you want to message me on or whatever is open. I like to think that when I need help, I can come to people that I choose to speak to. And in that regard, I'm really grateful to them. If you need to speak to somebody, please do. Anxiety is one of those things that I think still is being treated as something that people should deal with, they should get on with, that doesn't need addressing because we've all got it in some regard. I'm a firm believer that we probably do all struggle with anxiety in one way or another, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is if you are struggling with it, talk to somebody, because it's not going away without it. I deal with it in a number of ways. One is by writing. Writing helps so much anyway. And I don't mean writing in terms of journaling either. I just mean writing stories, poetry, blogs, anything like that. I also run quite a lot as well. And that is massive in terms of the body thing as well, because if look, I'll put it to you like this. I only have to sniff food and I put on weight. So I'd be the size of a house if I didn't exercise as regularly as I did. So that limits one anxiety in one regard as well. It also chemically is great for your brain. So even if you're not a runner, get some fresh air, get a walk in, maybe go down to the gym, see what you think. I know the gym's not for everybody, but these things called endorphins apparently that are really good for you once you've exercised, and they kind of help limit or at least relieve anxiety for a short period of time. Diet's another one as well. I've been a vegan since August, vegetarian since 2018? Might be a bit more than that, don't know. But diet helps. Look at perhaps having a bit more fresh fruit and veg in your diet. Less processed stuff. Make stuff that you've made rather than just stuff that you've bought from the supermarket and popped in the microwave. It's hard, I know. All of these things are hard. It's hard being an adult human being. There are so many expectations upon people. There are so many things that you think you have to do yourself that you have never been told to do. That for some reason, because you've seen one other person do it on Instagram, you think they have to do it as well. It's so unhealthy, this comparison culture. And I'm the biggest hypocrite because I am doing exactly that right now. But I'm, in a way, it's slightly different where I don't want you to tell me what you're going to do. I want you to go ahead and do whatever you need to do to help combat any stress or anxiety that you do have. This is an influencer would say here, let me know what you're going to do. No, I honestly don't want to know. Your anxiety is key to you, and how you deal with that is your battle and your strength, and how you come through that is down to you. I'm telling you this because I feel like I need to do this. And I'm not doing it to impress anyone. I'm not doing it to say, oh, look at me, I'm so brave coming forward. It's not really brave. It's just one of those things where I've dealt with it enough and I feel like I'm on the other side of it in as much as I have my coping strategies. I have my mechanisms for change. Be kind, be better with people. I have been guilty in the past of not doing that at all and making jokes where you think that will put a smile on someone's face, and the reality is not everybody wants a joke. I've got a few 100, but not everybody wants one. So just be kind to people that are in and around your circle. And it annoyed me the other day when I saw this thing that was like National Act of Kindness, a random kindness. I was like, it shouldn't just be one day. Do something good for people whenever you can. And it's only there because you can hashtag it and say, I've just done something for National Random Act of Kindness Day. It's another form of showing off. And whilst this video is meant to be solely about anxiety, social media provides the biggest anxiety for a lot of people. They see other people succeeding, they see other people going through the checkpoints of life, whether that's driving test, 18th birthday, 21st birthday, university degree, moving into the first home together, getting engaged, getting married, going on holidays, having children, having another child. Like those checkpoint people, if that makes you happy, that's great. And I'm not criticising you at all. But I do know for people who don't have that, for example, and careers who don't have the successful career that you want to have, it's a huge anxiety. Fortunately, people are getting much better at taking themselves off social media, whether it's for a little bit or for a long time. I think we all need to ask ourselves why we post things. Are we actually doing this because we are enjoying the moment or because we want someone else to enjoy our moment? It's hard. And I don't know what the answer is to that. And again, I'm a hypocrite for it as well, because I've done things for effect on social media. I'm sure you all have. It just seems to be now that portrayal of ourselves is more important. And because of that, it puts so much pressure on the normal days because we don't post the lowlights. And if we do, it feels like it's a special kind of, oh, look at this. Aren't they being so real? As you can tell, I've got a few issues with it. Anyway, I feel like I've gone on enough today. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave them for me. If you want to message me privately, that's absolutely fine as well. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like this video, have a look at some of the other things I've done. A lot of the other videos are a lot lighter in tone. So perhaps you'll find something a bit more interesting to you there. If you've enjoyed this video though, thank you very much for staying with me to the end. Usually people drop off after about the 17-second mark, so if you're still here, you've probably just walked away. No, jokes aside, you've probably actually found this remotely interesting, and I thank you very much. Until the next time though, look after yourselves, speak to people when you need to, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.